Welcome to another episode of ITT Podcast. I'm Ken.
My name is You Hong.
All right. I have been struggled to propose this idea. I just proposed this idea to You Hong. We wanted to talk about this topic, and we wanted to bring out a certain level of awareness again, and to sort of like bring discussions onto our platforms, onto our YouTube channel, so that you can discuss with us.
Yes.
And be very honest. Yu Hong haven't really prepared for anything for this topic. I just suddenly proposed this idea to him. So I think it's good because
First reactions,
clear mind, that kind of stuff, so that you will respond to my questions later. Okay, long story short, it is about a lady. I would say that she's a key opinion leader, one of the YouTubers, and then very famous person, very famous public figures in Malaysia. She committed suicide and couple of days ago, and fortunately she's
safe.
She's safe. There's no fatality. She's safe lah.
Okay.
But because in Malaysia, if you commit suicide, it is considered a crime.
A crime, yes, a crime.
So she got detained in the balai for a couple of days, and then now she's released. And she made a video to explain herself why what happened previously.
The reasons.
Yep. Because for the sake of our listeners, maybe you didn't really follow this news, and for the sake of you, Hong, also, a long story short, why she committed suicide, in her video that she explained, that she uploaded today, she said that she addicted to, what is that? She addicted to
drugs.
Not drugs. I suddenly forgot the name. 賭博
Oh, gambling.
Gambling.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. She addicted to gambling. And because before she got addicted to gambling, because she earned a lot of money and then she spent with her boyfriend.
Okay.
But she said that she overspent it. I would say that maybe she doesn't really know how to control her life and things like that. It is not her. I think it's not only happens on this particular YouTuber. It's basically happened on everyone.
Yeah, you can see this kind of cases in the drama.
Overspend, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she overspend, she don't have money, and then she go and borrow along, and then she gambling again, and then she borrow along. So it's like, lah.
Yeah, that's a bad type of cycle.
Yeah, bad type of cycles. But because when you cannot afford, then you have to borrow money to pay that things, that debt, and then
the debt is rolling, getting bigger and bigger.
But we are not going to talk about gambling, because when we talk about gambling, there will be a lot of stuff that we can talk about, including all those meme page that we realized on Facebook. The meme page recently on Malaysia Facebook spheres are mostly sponsored by a lot of gambling company.
Okay.
Where the police already started to take actions to ask them to take down all those advertisements, which is associated to a lot of meme page.
Okay.
But put aside gambling, let's talk about this case. This case was happened, I think, 1 week plus ago. All right. She's not committed suicide like yesterday, but 7 or 9 days ago. The Malaysia press has reported this case like treating it like a episode. A big drama, a big series, like a Netflix series like that. 34 parts of different side of stories. First question, do you think that is necessary?
For me.
Yeah, I want your honest answer.
As a communication students.
But you're not journalistic lah.
I'm not journalistic.
Broadcast really. Okay, let's think from a communication perspective. Do you think that a press should report this incident and split it into 34 parts?
For me, I think no.
For you?
For me, okay. That's just my personal opinion. For me, no. I don't agree with that. Because I felt
overrated.
If I am the victim, I felt you invaded my privacy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, let's think from the press perspective. I mean,
if I am the press, according back to
what you learn,
typical what you have watched. This is not in Malaysia only, but this is what normally press will do, is they will try to make it big, make it like a hoo-ha, so everybody will like get curious, and they will like, seriously, their sales are going up, so they gain from their part. But
he got a point.
But the thing that I want to say is, are the press really doing the work, as in like report the originality stuff that we don't talk about the privacy that have been invaded, but let's talk about is the cases got manipulated first or not.
That's very good point.
Like, you don't invent something that doesn't come up in the real world, but a lot of people tends to do that, especially in this era. No, it's not just the press. It's like friend between friends.
Yeah,
and you want to screw up somebody, you just get some
manipulations.
You just invented something. Just make a little comma, make a little exclamation mark. Then maybe in your friends, you like screw up. You have no friends. You have no friends.
But that's the point that I wanted to raise up. The press, where I think some of you, if you read the news, if you come across that news, you know which particular press that I am referring. Not we, but I. This is my personal thing. That I would think that it's a little bit unfair to the lady who committed suicide. Yes, she done wrong, and then there are some cases in between. People claims that she cheated someone else by selling some handbags and by selling some properties in order for her to get the cash, because she want to
gamble.
She wanted to gamble. She wanted to return back to the Along. So yeah, that part makes sense, because she wanted money and then she wanted to pay back. But the way that she do it is wrong.
Not encourageable. 100%.
You can't do that. Yes, but one thing about the press that has been reported, that this case are split into 34 parts, and then down below the comment box, right? What do you expect to see in the comment box? Think from a Malaysian perspective.
What I expect or what I want.
You expect? I mean, he doesn't really read the news. So imagine that
I listen news, but those news maybe like traffic news, traffic updates.
Let's say you come across this news already.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's a comment box that's full with 396 comments. And then you have the intentions and that kind of desire, you want to click it and read the comments.
First, I want to disclaim myself. I'm not the person that's like, it's none of my business. I won't go to see the comment box.
Yes,
I'm that type of person.
I'm sorry, media studies people will be like reading all the comments.
I don't know. But for me, what I expect is,
in a suicidal related kind of news,
probably a lot of nasty comments.
Expecting or?
I expect.
I think that
now you can see how down I am in like
in real life.
The hope of me with the like comment section.
Okay lah.
For Malaysian market.
I thought that you would say that I expect to see people will be like saying
fighting
something like hope she's safe.
Hope she's safe. What happened? Give more care. That's what I want. That's what I want to see in the comment section. But I expect it's not so kind. It's not so friendly.
What You Hong expected is not. It's actually happening in Malaysia. But what I hope just now, like, is the girl good? Is the girl safe?
That's basically
it doesn't really exist in Malaysia. Maybe small portion of it. Maybe small.
We couldn't neglect that there are some portions of people giving care, giving love, still want her to be good. And check her out basically.
One thing that, because one of the news agency, it's by Astro, they interviewed me in regards to the cyberbully related kind of topics that is related to this case. So what we observe right now is all those very nasty comments, including one of the very classic one. It says that if you say you want to commit suicide, you better jump down now. Such kind of very nasty comments.
I don't understand why.
Me neither.
Seriously, I don't understand why you want to speak it in this way. Yeah. It's none of my business. It's also none of your business. Like, it's none of both of our business. But regarding to this case, since you have already involved in it, you have commented something like that, I will think from my perspective, because I'm like a nobody. So yeah.
I still don't know why.
I just don't know why.
I don't know what kind of courage that he has.
It's not courage. I think
he got the ball to say that, right?
No.
So what is that?
For me, right, I will still believe in like the bright side, the good side. As in, he will say something like this. Probably he has some issue happening.
Okay, think from a very positive side.
Yeah, positive side. Think from a very positive side. Like, somebody will struggle. Somebody will turn dark in some point of his or her life. it's not totally her fault.
Which come to our topic before we start to record this episode that Yu Hong mentioned about a very philosophical side on the white and I'm trying to simplify that white and dark ecosystems, where if you look into it, the balancing of the society, there must be someone who is very good, there must be someone who always behave bad.
Yes. Like we cannot say that, for instance, like there's no crime. For sure there's a crime. Like if in Singapore you're like eating chewing gum, that's a crime. So that every country, every place in the world, there's a good and there's a bad.
Okay.
But just the amount, the percentage, the ratio of the good side and the bad side, I think right now the bad side has grown like overwhelming. But I'm not judging, saying that, oh, you do something bad, oh, you do something bad. As what we said last time, we don't judge people, but I just curious, what makes everybody so negativity? What is the thing that draws people to that?
I think one of the reason is because this is also relate to, and I know that it's going to be a lengthy. It also relate to when the day where we record this episode is on the 30th of April, and 2 days ago our Minister of Education announced the abolishing of UPSR. And then one of the statements that he said is that he quite sad to see nowadays students they go to school for the sake of getting A. So if you say what makes the darker side growing, I would blame the entire education systems, because the education system now, the one that we are having right now in Malaysia, is like you need to get A no matter what. A is the most important, but they will neglect the other stuff. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. For me, if give me one more chance to restudy everything, I will not choose to like go to a primary school or something like that. I wished I would tell my mom,
I understand.
I want homeschooling.
I understand where he comes from, because
I think that the education system, that it's not bad. It's not called it as a bad education system, but it doesn't suit me. Maybe it doesn't suit the whole mass of students. Let's say in that way. Like, I'm forcing you to study sejarah. But I'm not saying that the education system right now are bad. I'm just saying that it doesn't suit with a lot of people. Because I forced you to do something that it doesn't kickstart your interest in things like that.
Agree?
But as what I know, to my knowledge right now, homeschooling is more, for the parent side, they are gonna consume more time, they're gonna use more effort, everything. But as for the kids side, we are basically triggering them in order for let them to learn something that they want to learn.
Yeah, I agree. Yes,
for instance, this is from quote to quote from Billie Eilish. She said she learned math is by cooking, that her mom teach her. Like, if she's making cookies, all those stuff, like 180 grams minus 50 grams, how many? So from that, you are learning maths because you want to do cooking. You're interested in cooking, then it kickstart you have the interest to learn something like that.
Exactly.
And I think this education suits me.
You mean if I can restart my entire life?
If I can restart again.
This is not Tenet. This is not Back to the Future. But
in the future, I'm still studying. If I'm still studying, I'm gonna use.
But I agree with you, Hong, because one thing that I always advocate. My strength is not that strong, but I always tell if I have any chance and opportunity to share my thought, I always say that Malaysia education systems is rotten, because somehow you won't think that it might be not suitable for the masses. I would say that it's totally corrupted. Why? Because the education system is like forcing you to learn something that you don't know why you are learning. What is the purpose of it?
The intention.
The intention, like we always question. I know this is a joke. Sometimes when we see on a Facebook page, you will say that, do you still apply the AddMax additional mathematics skills in your daily life right now?
No.
Fx divided by fy times x equal to y, whatever. I'm trying to say that we are forcing some not say unnecessary, some of who will say study engineering or physicians.
Their professions.
Their professions.
Yes.
But not all. but not all who wanted to go to engineering. It comes back to what we discussed in the previous sessions, is where we over focusing on
The outcome,
the result, but you never really focus. You
the
always
process, you know,
you don't focus on the morality developments on one person,
the intentions, the process,
The-
and how it's gonna conduct.
the humanistics of it. Like, do you know how to talk in manners? Do you know how to speak in good manners? How do you talk to other people? Like, especially in nowadays society, in now the generations that we are having right now, especially starting 2020.
Is
there's-
civilization a way for you to package yourself, but you trying to be nasty?
Like it or not, COVID-19 is like a pusher. It's like a, what is that called?
A thing that force you to grow up.
Yeah, one thing. And then it pushes the entire globes moving into a more digital world, which means that now your kids at home, your junior at homes is using mobile phone to communicate.
Globalization.
I'm sorry, but what subjects in the primary school taught our kids to behave at least moderate on their digital platforms on the internet? None. Because if you look into the education system, especially in 2020 until now 2021, all the students are basically facing their laptop when they are having class. So
It's the e-learning era for every student.
exactly. So all the teachers are now stressed out, and they wanted to ensure that my student have to get A in UPSR. If not, I'm going to shame my school. You realize that this situation actually happening?
I realized that. I deeply realized that because
You came from that era?
my parents, my mom is
Sorry, auntie.
is a tuition teacher.
Okay.
So she gotta teach the students.
So it's like to
the primary
ensure,
school students.
to ensure the students to get good result.
I couldn't say that, but I think in a very business manner that the parents paid my mom
To ensure that
to
their
learn
kids to get A.
something, and they kind of expect some outcome.
Yeah, that's the thing. We cannot neglect, because that's why I said I blame the entire education system, because now the education system somehow pushes the parents to only believe that getting A is like a priority in this era.
Mm.
Who said so? No one said so.
Yeah,
Then
I kind of agree with that.
Because of it neglect the
Moralities.
the humanistics and moralities development of each of the individual. I'm referring to our junior. So our juniors who now slowly to develop, this is not education system like 10 years ago. We have been using this same framework like almost 50 over years. I mean, UPSR is starting from 1988. I'm born in 1988, so it's 33 years. So now, because of it, all those netizens who grow up since they are young, right, they never really get to learn about good behaviors and good humanistic development. Ends up the behavior that you can see right now is whatever that you can see on the social media right now.
I think we can predict, call it as a so-called predict, where if this quote to quote what you have said, this education keep continuing, keep rolling, something like that in the future, what we expect, or maybe right now we can see some symptoms is there's people who get A's. There's a lot of people that on the paper they got the achievement that you wanted, but regarding to him or her as a person, then combines it up as a society, as a world, as a country, as a nation, are they having that morality and humanity, practice good, do good things, or anything that you wish a peace world should have, or you just wish that everybody can achieve to have a good result? But that result doesn't really represent something, you know. If I ask you, you got, for instance, I'm not sure, but if you get A for METS right now, then you have that paper. Then right now, if you are the person that do good, okay, congrats. But if you are the person that, so what, I got A, then I'm still like that nasty guy. Then
I just wrote an article just now. I said I interviewed a lot of people when I was back in my working time. I got all those 4.0 CGPA over 4.0, the subjects very, very good result one. Ends up their manners, their behavior sucks one. So the result doesn't really say everything. So come back to what we discussed in the very beginning. Let's ask a very serious questions, and I want your very honest answer. If you are listening to this episode, if you are driving and listening, I hope that you can after you reach your destination, you just leave your comments. I really want your honest answer. Back to the very first stories that I tell you, DKOL who committed suicide. How many of our primary schools or secondary school does have a sessions or seminar to get the students to sit down and let's talk about commit suicide? How many of the
I think I've been through before.
Been through what?
Been through that seminar.
You've been through that?
I think I've been through
How
that.
many?
Like once or twice in secondary school.
Do you think that's sufficient?
No, to be honest, no.
Because
They are telling the things that I know already.
yeah, one of the cases that happened, this commit suicide thingy, the cases, it happens in our college.
Yeah.
If you
I know.
And then there are several of it. So one of it is like, let's look into it. I'm not trying to push all those unnecessary topic and you are
Combines
trying
it.
to combine, you're trying to link every unnecessary thing. It is connected. Imagine that the education systems are not only focusing on the knowledge, but they are also opening up to talk about the serious issue. Then it will be something. It will help the humanistics and personal development of that individuals, of our kids, and to somehow help them to strengthen their critical thinking or strengthen their way of analyzing things, sort of like it can prevent them to do something wrong in future.
Yeah. Maybe you gotta think, you gotta plan for your future, for your kids' future. What type of kid do you want?
Exactly.
Like right now, because we are still us, then we don't even think about in the future. Maybe so-called you said that's so way further than presence right now. But probably you gotta start thinking, if you want a better world, because making a change takes time. Is it gonna change? Takes another time. And is it successfully kickstart and change? It took another time. So if you really want your child in the future, like it's the typical child that we are right now, you think that you have gone through and you want your child to be gone through the same process as what you have right now, I have no comment. But if you think you want the society, the everything, not just Malaysia, in the whole globe, everybody change to we call as a so-called a better version of ourselves, a better version of humans, I think we should take some actions on that.
Starts now.
Now.
Yeah, don't wait. Don't
Subscribe.
wait. Don't don't say that. Never mind lah. They will do it. No, if you don't start now, if you don't start within your own circle, I'm referring to your own family, then the world, whatever that you wanted to see, like what you Hong mentioned just now, it won't happen. So starts by one thing. Stop commenting nasty thing on the internet, and second thing, show some empathy and sympathy to those people. You're not necessary. If you see someone who is wanted to do something wrong, you can always say something good to stop them from doing so. If you are the seniors in your family, make sure that you are the good role models to the junior in your family. Start with these three very simple things. As easy as
you don't need money to do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to waste effort to do that.
It really brings to our concerns when we heard of someone who is committing suicide, and we don't want to see that happen in future. To be very honest, yes, we don't want to see that anymore, because committing suicide is not a solution. Yeah. With that,
it's a dark and really heavy topic.
But we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, just because we figure out that if we didn't really bring it up this issue, probably every time we are like having fun, then I know the audience are having fun. We are not trying to like spread negativity, but we just want to let you know things happen, and this is something that we kind of need to aware for the awareness.
If you are listening to our episodes on during your early drive, I hope that this will become one of the inspirations for your entire day, so that if you can help us to spread some of the good energies here, do share what you.
I still believe good people are still in our society.
Yeah, even though we are now facing the ecosystem like what you Hong mentioned just now.
Yeah.
But let's do it together.
Yeah.
All right?
By that, let's wrap up this episode by saying
Thank you so much for listening to our episode today. Again,
correct.
we are available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Follow our socials. If you have any things to
comments down below.
Yeah, I want to share comments down below. With that, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you up next time.
Bye.
Bye.